We didn't have a shop or pub in our village, and we loved our peace and tourist-free quiet. But we were lucky enough to have the beautiful old manor house, which for a long time now has been run as a small independent country house hotel. It's a godsend to us. A place to eat and drink in the beautiful gardens with their gorgeous views of the sea, or in winter the oak-panelled dining room, logs blazing in the ancient inglenook fireplace. Our cottage is tucked around the back of the old manor house, and it used to house the steward who managed the estate. The evening was cool for June, and we chose to eat inside. Tom and Eve had walked across the cliff path to Polperro, aiming to get a pizza or steak and chips at the Crumplehorn Inn. So for a while, at last, Chris and I were alone. And we had so much to talk about that neither of us knew quite how to begin, or at least I didn't. Chris, however, wanted to talk about Ted and Eloise. His analysis, I knew, would be spot on. It was just that I thought there were things, feelings, irrational emotions playing out in this small family drama that needed a vast vista, a sweeping stage to comprehend. We needed the northern lights here, the aurora borealis, to illuminate this sad, shadowy little Cornish tragedy. Ted's obviously in a really bad state, said Chris. I want to help him, but first he needs to admit he's got a problem. I swallowed my irritation. He just did. His wife has just died of cancer, and he told us he wanted her to die. I mean, he couldn't have been plainer, could he? Do you really think that's normal? Of course it is, Cathy. Bereavement sends people into torments. He's so angry he doesn't know what he's thinking right now. Yeah, I thought cynically. Well, I had a strong idea. He hates Eloise, and not just because she's died and left him with 2 little girls to bring up alone. There was something terribly wrong with Ted and Eloise, and it wasn't all down to her illness and the strain it had put on their marriage. I wished I could have just shrugged and consigned it to fate. Other people's fates, their business, nothing to do with me. But Eloise had made it my business too, and I knew with a weary spirit that I had been bound by her to find out the truth. Oddly, I didn't hear from her that night. It seemed she had acknowledged I had had enough, that I needed some respite from her demands, that I actually just deserved some rest. What a fool I was. That she, tormented soul, would ever think I needed a break. Really, I was nothing to her, other than a means to an end. All that was left to her was a moral imperative, and that concerned her children, no one else, not her mother, her husband, and certainly not me. She didn't care about anyone other than those to whom she had given birth. She certainly wasn't remotely worried about me and the mental torment her visits had caused me. I no longer liked Eloise. Oh, I knew this was all about her children. A mother's fierce and natural determination to put them first at all costs, but that cost now included me, and I had children too. They had already suffered because of Eloise's hold over me. They had seen me ill again. Of course, there was a desperate craving, a real cry for help in her invasions of my dreams. I was sure of that. But I was just a medium, a cog in a complex supernatural equation, aimed squarely at channeling my fragile mind. She was using me. I had no idea what this was all about, the big picture, as they used to say in Hollywood. But as much as I revered the memory of my dear dead friend, I had no wish to be involved in a ghostly mission for justice that might destroy my stability and the happiness of my own dear children. So there you go. Your kids or mine, Ellie? No contest. On Sunday, Chris and I went to church. The children stayed in bed.